Let's start off our day with something wonderful or hear a story about someone being marvelous. Hey, let's make today Wonderless. This is the show that gives you a daily dose of happy, uplifting, feel good stories from around the world. Welcome to another episode of Wonderless News. I'm Hoyt Christopher. Let's get right to it. All right, so our first segment is this is great. A hatchet-wielding attacker is subdued during a wild attack caught on camera at a California gym. Yeah, you got it right. So gym goers at this Planet Fitness in California, they got more than a workout that day. A bunch of them sprang into action. This guy had another guy at the gym pinned down with a knife or at knife point. I don't know why they say hatchet. Maybe it was kind of a hatchet-looking knife. And four of these guys that were working at the gym jumped in there, grabbed the guy that had the knife, the hatchet. They held him down, and they ended up saving the other guy that was actually being attacked. He was actually stabbed multiple times by this guy. And then, here's part of the story. So it says the four men were able to neutralize the suspect, wielding both a knife. Oh, there you go. Wielding both a knife and a hatchet until the police arrived on the scene. Now, after the police arrived, the victim was transported to the hospital. And despite multiple stab wounds, the victim has been released and is expected to have a full recovery. So, wow, dude, these four guys at the gym, they took down this guy who had already stabbed this other guy a couple times, and they saved the day. I mean, I bet you they were pumped, right? They're working out. They're doing their weights. They're getting jacked. Like, I mean, it's probably scary too. I mean, I'm not lying. I'm making light of it. But these four guys at this Planet Fitness gym in California saved the day. They saved this guy, and he's making a full recovery. And, these stories are good. These are positive stories. It takes a bad situation and makes it positive. And we hear about more, I guess, heroes coming to the rescue in some really, really awful situations where more people would have gotten hurt or killed, and someone comes in and saves these people. We've seen this with some shootings and so forth. So, I guess it's something to think about, right? You could sit and do nothing, or you could try to do something. And these four guys sprung into action to do something. Heroes in my book. So awesome segment. Next segment is friends shorten kidney patients' long waits for transplants to just months by donating theirs. Okay, so there's a lot to this story. I'm going to read parts of it because there's a lot of information. First of all, with kidney disease, okay, so as many as 9 in 10 adults with chronic kidney disease do not know that they have it. Okay, so let's hear that again because it could be one of you. 9 in 10 adults with chronic kidney disease do not know that they have it. All right, so it's an important fact to know because this is also March, which is National Kidney Month, but it's also good to know all throughout the year. By the time kidney disease is detected, it is usually in the advanced stages, which means a patient may need dialysis several times a week. Now, dialysis is the process that cleans the blood because your kidneys can't do it when they're not working effectively. These dialysis machines means a couple times a week, you have to sit on that machine while it cleans your blood for 4 hours at a time. So, twice, sometimes 3 times a week, you're sitting there for 4 hours going through this process. And all the while they're waiting to get a kidney from someone else, as a donor so they can replace theirs. And obviously you have to be a match. So your blood, everything has to be matched. So it's not easy to do. This one lady, actually, she was able to get, after a year and a half of, going through dialysis, she actually got a donor. She got her kidney transplant, and it afforded her the opportunity, she said, to go to college or complete college. And she became a high school art teacher. But at the age of 50, unfortunately, her name is her Gerlach. Her transplant organ began to fail. So she began to become fatigued and started to experience swelling. And this really, was really pressuring her. And thankfully her and some other patients that were also in line to get to get a kidney transplant were able to donate their kidney. So what happened was she was going to have to wait a lot longer. So were a couple other patients. And some of the friends of those that needed needed to have their kidneys replaced, and a donor ended up donating theirs to help their friends and these other people they did not know get their kidney replacement. And that is incredible. I saw a show on TV. I can't remember the name of it, doctor's show. And they had the same sort of situation. They had one kidney donor that needed to have their kidney replaced, and then their family didn't have a match, but someone else had a match, and that happened to be someone of another family. And it was like this whole round, like it basically everyone had to be in this chain, had to somehow contribute their kidney so everybody could get theirs replaced and be donated. So great story. She's doing great. The other patients are doing great. And again, it's something to understand. I mean, I don't know. I think I'm okay, but we should probably go to the doctor and check to make sure our kidneys are running well. They keep doing their thing. In the meantime, talk about running well. We got our Wonderlous moment of the day, brought to you by Rise by Shaman Angelina. She has an incredible Etsy store with great jewelry that she does all by hand, sterling silver with sea glass that she sources from the ocean, and incredible stuff. She provides us today a video. A video of a party. Yeah, a party with some music. That's our Rise by Shaman Angelina moment of the day. Let's look at it and listen to it. I like that. We do some nature stuff. We did whales and all those things, but having that little dance party with the music was cool. Thank you, Rise by Shaman Angelina. Check out her store. The link to her store on Etsy is in the description of the show, whether it's on YouTube that you're watching or any of the podcast platforms that we have. Okay. So now, next segment, a fisherman finds photos on a stranger's lost camera after it sat in the water for 13 years. Yeah, who would have thought? So this camera had digital photos stored on an SD card on this. It was like one of those disposable cameras, I think, right? But with the SD card inside of her, maybe it wasn't disposable. It's kind of hammered. If you go to the show link, or the news segment, you can see the camera. It looks like like a digital camera that you could just switch the SD cards out, but it also kind of looks like there was a time where we had some of those disposable ones that still look kind of fancy, that you would, you had an SD card on there and you would just plug it in and pull the shots off. But anyways, regardless, this camera was lost 13 years ago in 2010, and it was in the Animas River in Colorado. This girl had gone to her best friend's wedding. She says, I remember getting back to my boyfriend's house after, going rafting and stuff. And she was uncontrollably crying and upset because she had so many great pictures on this camera and it was gone. 13 years later, this fisherman finds it. He's curious, so he decides to open it up. He finds the SD card. Lo and behold, it actually works. He's able to download the images. He notices that it's like of a wedding party and bachelorette party and this and that. So he decides to post some of the images on a Durango Facebook group. And wow, within an hour, this girl and her friends, I think even her fiance or husband, saw the pictures and said, that's me. Those are my photos. That's from my camera that I lost 13 years ago. Holy wow, dude. That's incredible. So, it blows my mind that this SD card is still working and was able to keep those images on there, even sitting in the water for 13 years. I don't think I would try that with your camera at home if you got one, but it worked out for her. So great story. And it brings us to the wonderless thought, which is, for me, I'm going to talk about keeping our photos or photo albums, right? Like, I don't know about you guys, but my phone is a mess with pictures, and my Apple iCloud and my heart. I mean, I have so many photos that, first of all, I have a box of photos, old school. And then, when it became digital, now I have just as many, if not more, digital photos, and they just sit there. I'm not putting them in photo albums. I'm not printing them and putting them in frames. Like, I don't know. What do you guys do? I know there's websites and apps that can, put them into photo albums. You can do that, but I still haven't done that. I have all these photos. My wife and I still have wedding photos we haven't gone through. I don't, it's so nice to have a digital, you can do digital images and we can share them on different sites. I mean, we do that, right? We post them on Instagram and other social media platforms. But I mean, where are the photo albums? Where are the photos in your house? Do you have those? We have some, but not that many. It's just so many wasted images. And when am I supposed to go through these? Right? Like, and I should go through them. There's a lot of great memories on our phones and in our clouds of these, moments in our life. And maybe at some point, I'll thumb through them and maybe I'll find some. I have photos that my son took that are just, it's cute, but he just, took a picture of his feet or, the carpet 500 times. I think that's my thought, right? Like, what do we do with all these photos? We should probably figure out a way to organize them and have some that are available for people when they come over, and you have an actual photo album. I mean, why not? Why not? I mean, you can do digital photo albums, of course, but photos are so amazing. It really does. It's like a time machine. It takes you back to that moment and you go, oh yeah, I remember that. I remember having dinner with my wife at that restaurant. And I remember that night being really fun because we went here and went dancing and whatever it is. That's what photos are for. They're reminders of time that we shared with other people in other places, maybe around the world. So that's my thought. What are your thoughts? What are your Wonderlous News stories? Tell me. Send them to me at wonderlessnews@gmail.com. That's the email address. Send me some of your great stories. I want to hear them. I want to talk about them here on the show. We'll have a lot of fun with that. I'd love to be able to spread that joy that you have and that positive feel-good stories that we all need to have every day. So thanks again for watching and listening. I'm Hoyt Christopher. This is Wonderless News. I'll see you tomorrow.